Well, because I had a lot of wrong, message information about Africa, like a poor and messy and all this stuff before I came.
Yeah.
When I landed, I was amazed by the nature. The people, they're so simple. When you look at their eyes, they're full of passion. They want to change.
All right, let us talk to you the way people talk when the cameras are off and the microphones are muted. Something strange is happening in the world right now. The West, the same West that ignored Africa, mocked Africa, lectured Africa, is suddenly acting nervous. You can see it in their eyes during press conferences, you can hear it in the shaky tone of their Africa partnership speeches, and if you look closely, you'll notice a pattern. They're rushing to sign deals, rushing to host summits, rushing to act like they've always cared.
In boardrooms from Washington to Beijing, in defense councils from Brussels to Moscow, and in tech labs from Bangalore to Silicon Valley, one question is being urgently asked. What is happening in Africa, and why is the world suddenly racing toward it? This is the story of Africa's rise in global importance, a shift driven by demographics, resources, geopolitics, and a new generation rewriting the future. And it is happening faster than anyone expected. For decades, Africa was seen as a developing region. But according to the IMF's 2024 outlook, 8 of the world's 15 fastest growing economies are African, including Rwanda, Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, DR Congo, and Ethiopia. Meanwhile, global economic powerhouses in the West, the US, UK, France, Germany, all face slowing growth, aging populations, rising debt, and political fragmentation. In contrast, Africa has become the youngest continent on Earth, with 1.4 billion people today, 2.5 billion people by 2050 UN Population Division, a median age of 19, the world's fastest urbanization rate. As the World Bank notes, Africa will supply over 40% of the global workforce by the end of the century. A continent once seen as a future market is quickly becoming the world's largest human capital reservoir. This is the first reason Africa matters. Demographics that no other region can compete with. As the world shifts to green energy, batteries, electric cars, and new defense technologies, Africa holds what every major power needs: minerals of the future. According to UNCTAD, Africa has 70% of the world's cobalt, 50% of global manganese, 40% of natural graphite, nearly 30% of global bauxite, huge untapped lithium deposits in Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mali, DR Congo, massive rare earth potential in Burundi, South Africa, Tanzania. The International Energy Agency confirms Africa's mineral reserves are essential for the global energy transition. Meanwhile, gas discoveries in Mozambique, Tanzania, Senegal, Mauritania, and Namibia are reshaping the world's energy supply map. Namibia alone could become one of the top 10 oil producers within the decade. This is the second reason Africa matters. It holds the keys to the next industrial revolution. Over the last 18 months, Africa has become the stage of a new geopolitical rivalry, one bigger than the Cold War, because this time, economics, energy, defense, tech, and influence are at stake simultaneously. The United States has launched the U.S. Africa Strategic Dialogue, expanded AFRICOM cooperation, and is investing heavily in minerals and infrastructure. China continues to dominate African infrastructure finance through the Belt and Road Initiative. According to the AFDB, China funded over $155 billion worth of African projects in the last 2 decades. The European Union has unveiled the Global Gateway, promising €150 billion for Africa to counter China's influence. Russia has expanded defense cooperation, energy deals, and resource contracts, especially in the Sahel and Central Africa. India, Turkey, UAE, Japan have rapidly increased diplomatic missions, ports, tech partnerships, and trade investments. For the first time in history, all major powers are competing for Africa at the same time. This is the third reason Africa matters. It has become the world's new geopolitical chessboard. In 2021, Africa launched something historic: the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, now the largest free trade zone on Earth by number of countries. When fully implemented, The World Bank estimates AFCFTA will boost Africa's GDP by $450 billion, lift 30 million people from extreme poverty, create the world's largest single market after China and India, stimulate massive manufacturing growth. This means Africa is no longer a set of small markets. It is becoming one unified economic giant. And that shift is rewriting global supply chains. Morocco's automotive exports now surpass $12 billion. Ethiopia is becoming a textile and footwear hub. Kenya and Rwanda lead East Africa's digital economy. Nigeria, Ghana, and Côte d'Ivoire are expanding fintech leadership. South Africa remains the continent's industrial backbone. Egypt is emerging as a renewable energy powerhouse. The fourth reason Africa matters. It is integrating into a single economic force. Africa is leapfrogging old technologies the same way it skipped landlines and jumped directly to mobile money. According to GSMA, over 650 million Africans now use smartphones. Africa processes more mobile money transactions than all other regions combined. Nairobi and Lagos are now among the top 20 fastest growing tech ecosystems globally. Rwanda has launched Africa's first drone medical logistics system, and Ghana now uses drones for blood delivery across hundreds of hospitals. Egypt and Kenya are testing AI in agriculture, while South Africa leads in renewable energy engineering. This is the fifth reason Africa matters. It is not catching up. It is leapfrogging. Africa is also becoming central to global military calculations. The Horn of Africa controls access to the Red Sea, a gateway for 12% of world trade. The Gulf of Guinea carries major oil routes. The Sahel is crucial for counter-terrorism cooperation. Africa contributes over 40% of UN peacekeeping forces. As global instability rises, Africa's strategic location becomes more valuable. This is the sixth reason Africa matters. It is essential to global security architecture. In the last decade, Africa's cultural influence has exploded. According to UNESCO, Nollywood is now the world's second largest film industry. Afrobeats is the fastest growing music genre globally. Fashion capitals from Lagos to Johannesburg are gaining global attention. African designers are influencing Paris, London, and New York runways. African cuisine is spreading worldwide. Global streaming platforms are investing hundreds of millions in African content. Soft power is the final piece of the puzzle. This is the seventh reason Africa matters. It is becoming a cultural superpower. For decades, Africa was framed by the West through the lens of aid. But now, the conversation has drastically changed. Today's narrative is about investment, partnerships, markets, innovation, mutual benefit. As the African Development Bank states, Africa is no longer the world's problem. It is the world's solution. Climate? Africa holds half the world's best solar potential. Food? Africa holds 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land. Labor? Africa is the world's youngest workforce. Energy transition? Africa has the minerals needed for the next century. Geopolitics? Africa is now being courted by every major power. It is not sudden. It is simply undeniable. Africa's rise is not without challenges. Governance issues, debt vulnerabilities, infrastructure gaps, security threats, climate change pressures. But the momentum is real and irreversible. The world is no longer looking at Africa as a continent of problems, but a continent of possibilities, a continent of innovation, a continent of resources, a continent of young people ready to reshape the world. As we move deeper into the 21st century, one truth becomes clear. Africa is no longer emerging. Africa is arriving, ***, and the world is finally paying attention.